stand, and you can go live.
All right, going live.
Are we live? Are we live? Are we live?
Starting
Are
live.
we?
You're live.
We're live. We're big, we're bad, we're back. It's 10:34. 4 minutes late. God bless it. How are you all? It's been a little bit of time here. I'm going to turn down the notifications that are going ding, ding, ding. Hope everybody is doing marvelously well. Look, it is... When's the last time we were live? It's been about 2 weeks because before that I went on holiday, on vacation. And it was rather lovely. Got the kids away in Hawaii. And hey Tom, hey Michael, hi Daniel, hello IK Multimedia. So speaking of IK Multimedia, and Adrian and Jay and Sheila and Bjorn and George and David and Michael from In The Mix, how are you all? Hope you're all doing marvelously well. What we're going to do is we're going to do the Total Studio Max 2. And what I've got is I've got a track from our Academy, and I can play a little bit of it here, but this track from the Academy is by an artist called Katie Laurel. I've used this in quite a few different ways. I really, really like this song. I think she's a great writer, and the production on this was done very, very stack soul, Atlantic-y. And so everything that was, focused on that kind of sound. But it's fairly simplistic track-wise. I know it looks like there's a decent amount of tracks, but that's like a lot of background tracks that could be bounced to stereo. But otherwise, it's quite simplistic. So I think it's going to be fun for us to mix because we can do some really big global things, pull in plugins, go, okay, what's this going to do? How's this going to affect the whole sound of the mix in itself? Other than that, should be a lot of fun. How are you all? Johnny, Sean Paul, Tiz Bonus, Keith, Devon. This is all rather lovely. I'm trying to find the right page here. Give me a second. I think it's been closed out of. I'm just looking for the actual... Oh, no, I see the chat page, but I don't see the actual YouTube page that it's from. Doesn't seem to be there. I'm closing out tons of stuff. That's right, I'm doing it now. I'm live, on air, in front of everybody. Closing everything else so we can find it. Ignore. That's because it doesn't exist.
Beautiful. Yeah, we hope it never.
All I need is the YouTube page.
Mm-hmm.
You sure you did it from Chrome? Okay.
Get a beautiful preview.
Okay, marvelous. Sorry about that, folks. And there's the chat. Great. So now we can make this more involved. Excellent. God bless it. Okay, so I want to listen to this. Now, there is a mix that I did actually through the console in a hybrid fashion. So why don't we listen to that? Because that'd be quite interesting to see what we've got to beat.
Sirens call us to the grounds.
Okay, so you can tell what's going on there. I wanted to play quite a bit of the song because there's quite a lot of moments happening in it that are really, really cool. Yes, it's Motown, it's Stax, it's Atlantic. There's a lot of reverb on stuff, which is going to be a lot of fun. I like using reverb, you know, in the context of songs. This classic kind of Phil Spector-y thing is always based around a lot of people in a room. You know, those records he made, he would have like 4 or 5 acoustic guitar players like sitting around in a circle with one mic on them. He would, you know, everybody was in a room playing together. There was baffling, but, you know, that big wall of sound was a lot of things sort of bleeding into each other. So that's the reason why you want, if you want to recreate that, you need kind of some summation, some feeling of like a reverb where maybe there's a touch of lots of instruments going into there. So it's quite a different way. It was interesting because I just did that drum breakdown video last week from Sunset Sound, and somebody like sent me a message saying, oh, you know, the drums should sound like, and then they pointed me to a video. And it was like the super modern snappy drum sound. It's like all drums should sound like this. And that, I think, is sort of the disconnect and the reason why we're called Produce Like a Pro and we're not called like Mix Like a whatever or Mix That. Because when you're producing music, you know, you're trying to create an overall emotion, an overall feel. You're not trying to, you know, do it one way, just because there's one way to record a drum and one way to mix it. That's where production comes in. That's where what we're going to do now is going to take it further over, you know, over the edge. So let's have a listen to the raw tracks. Eric has assured me that all the levels and everything are great, so hopefully this won't blow your head off. Let's have a listen.
Just off the coast, the waves are crashing. Sirens call us to the rocks. And everywhere the lights are flashing. Maybe we are falling, maybe we should call the whole thing off. This is dangerous, but we need to feel the rush. And I keep saying I can't keep playing.
Okay, you'll notice there's a lot of production on this. And what do I mean by that? I mean things naturally raise in volume when the chorus comes in because there's additional production elements. There is a sound of instruments with reverbs, etc. on it because it was recorded that way. And, you know, I used amps with spring reverb on it. The piano's live, it's a C7. The beat is something that I built using various different elements. And that's it. It's very, very simplistic, but it is specifically designed to have this sound. So if I listen to that and my mix that I did through a console. Now, when I mixed this through the console, I actually summed it through a 12-channel CADAC, which I can show you here really quickly. Give me 1 second to grab. Dum, dum, dum. Quite there yet. There it is. That is a twerk with cables laying all over it, but that is a 12-channel CADAC console. And it was actually summed originally through that. So all it is, you know, that's essentially it. It's pretty straightforward, but that summing sound just kind of blurred the edges together. So another thing, another challenge we're going to do using the IK plugins today is also to kind of add that glue back in as well. So there's a little bit more, you know, going on. It's about, you know, let's glue the sounds together. Maybe add a little saturation here and there, because at the moment it sounds good, but it also sounds a little separate. Have a listen. It's a little polite. I mean, these are subtle things, but it's a little polite. We want it to be just a little edgier, a little wrong, make it feel like it's got some tape to it. You know, a little bit more grind, even though I was probably using a nice mic pre or two, or some old older, there may be a tube mic or a ribbon here and there. Those really aren't going to like gritty it up enough. And some of the stuff is also, you know, the strings are synthetic and they could do with being dirtied up a little bit. So that's basically my thought process coming into this. So the first thing I want to do is sort of listen to this really, really basic beat that's playing. Let's have a listen to this. So listening to that beat there, I feel like the low end is coming and going. It's coming and going. There isn't a consistent sort of hit on it. It's very exciting when the clap comes in. The clap with the snare, but the low end's just not consistent. So let's just go in here and grab some stuff. Da-de-dum-dum-dum. Now, here it is. So this is the Total Studio 2. So much good stuff here. 38 high-end processors here. So let's have a look at what we've got. You know me, I'm a huge fan of the T-Rex, but there's also the Saturator X here, which I think could become really interesting on quite a few different things. This matching mastering processor could be interesting if we get enough time. Maybe we could listen to something we're trying to emulate and then, you know, try matching that sound, you know, with, try matching that sound with what we're doing. Microphone modeling module, that's insane. There's too much here stuff for me to try out in a short space of time, in an hour and a half. You know I love these, so I'm going to go here and grab some 73s. That might be the way to start off, or it could be the EQ. Why don't we try either ones of those? So let's go here. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try the API actually first. So, oops, did I say that? I suppose I'm not allowed to technically say that, am I? You know what? I'm going to go to 73. I changed my mind. How dare I? Okay, so the first thing we can do, obviously, is grab, I don't know, let's just go to something like 60. The thing we've got to remember with the Motown stuff, even though it had low end and it had this big feel, it was being cut to vinyl. On vinyl, there wasn't the ability to reproduce super, super lows. If you had 20 or 40 hertz on a single, and particularly an album, the stylus, the needle, the stylus would literally pop out of the groove. So there is a sort of artificial low end, which is shelved a lot higher, and even 60 is pretty low. But we're going to go to 60 because we want to give the illusion. We want it to, you've got to try and balance the idea of the illusion of something old-fashioned with what the modern world demands. How do we bring those two things together? So I think 60 hertz is going to be good. So let's have a listen. Let's just pump up some 60 here. So what's happening is going ding, boom, boom, ding, ding, boom, boom. And yet I want that first one to have some extra lows. Do you hear what I'm hearing? This first beat here is not doing it for me. Here. But listen to this. Those two there have more low. But here. So let's try a couple of things. Firstly, I think what might be kind of fun is we could pull this across, but I think that would break up our groove. Let's have a listen. Obviously, you can hear the edit in there. But let's see what we can do using the plugins here rather than doing an edit. So first thing I'm going to do is boost the 60 here. Let's go in and pull out a little bit of low mids at 360. Huge difference. That's in bypass. Have a listen. Put it in. I mean, there's something beautiful about a little bit of the inconsistency, but I want to hear it a little bit more targeted. So I think a couple of things. I think we can go in there. Let's have a look, go back to our bundle here. I'm not afraid to boost. This is the white channel, which I have a lot of fun with before. We've really, really enjoyed using that. There's the EQ 81, of course, which has more EQ points, but we're not going to specifically, I don't think we need to necessarily go to that. We can go, let's go for the EQ PG, not instead, but as well. So I'm going to go in here. Here's the EQ PG. And literally just go to 63. So it's interesting, when I boost this 30 here, it's 31, but this 30 here, it really, really gets these two other ones, really is attacking them greatly. So it's telling you that there's some super, super lows in that area there. So I'm experimenting here. I'm seeing that 125 is still not in that area there. So it really comes alive at that 31 there. So I'm going to bring it up there. Let's try taking the 73 off and see what the PG does. Now just the 73. It's quite sweet. It is quite sweet. There's something really, really big. It's amazing how they respond so differently. Like here's just the API, the EQPG. It's definitely more targeted. Definitely more targeted. I'm going to insert the preamp here. I like it in. I like it in. It's barely making much difference whatsoever. Eric's walking over.
Yeah, there's actually a newer version of that plugin. Same plugin, but newer version. So if you open that up and scroll down to TR5.
Ah, TR5. Woo! Oh, look at that. God bless America. Preamps definitely seems to be, so if I can drive that a little harder, let's see what that does. See, what I'm thinking of here is like, let's see how it folds in. If we boost the low end, but then drive it harder with the gain, then bring the output down, it will do its own kind of limiting, if you like. It's also bringing up the ambience really nicely. That's really bringing up the ambience. This is a really, really sweet sounding EQ. It's funny because sometimes I get really, really into very surgical EQs. And this is something that was interesting talking with Andrew Sheps a few weeks ago when we had him on. That, you know, we get to love like certain sounds of certain kinds of EQs. So we like the way that there's a blooming low end of, you know, a 73, for instance. But then we also like the fact that, you know, that there's a focus on, you know, this style of EQ, API, should we say. So it's kind of a combo platter. So for me, I want to keep this very analog. I don't want this to feel like I've gone absolutely nuts in precision EQ. So it's pretty tasty. It's pretty tasty using the two together. It might be a little bit of overkill using two plugins to do one person's job, but I like the sound of both those two things together. Let's pull that in the track. See, I like what that's doing, and I'm wondering if this is good fun to experiment, we do this. Let's reverse it. That's it. That's the secret for me. So what I've done, thank you, Zach. What I've done there is I have saturated it first, then put the low end boost afterwards. Might seem a little counterintuitive, but what it's doing is it's folding in some of those, the clap and the snare, bringing it in, making the low end more even by saturating where it's getting too big, and then I'm boosting afterwards. I love that. So Saturator X for the win. So this is a Yamaha C7. This is a really, really nice piano. It's actually the Adele piano. It's what was used at Harmony, my other studio where Someone Like You was recorded. So it's a beautiful piano. Question is it too nice? Is it too pretty? Is it too, you know, what are we going to do? Let's do a couple of things. I think let's just copy the Saturator X down, which is remarkable so far. I'm going to bring the gain back before and let's have a listen. I don't know what it is about tape 1. It seems to be my favourite one. In both instances, it's the where I've gone to. I've got to be honest, it's pretty smart to have like the most useful sounding one be the first one quickly. Now, I love, see, at the moment, the beat is still inconsistent on the low end. It's not as inconsistent because the saturator first, but I kind of like it. The reason why, and, you know, this is where, you know, you can't have one way to do everything, and you've got to be experimental, is that we have timpani in the chorus. Have a listen to the timpani. And also there's another drum print. So it's very, very important to understand like all of the elements in your mix when you're making decisions. The last thing you want to do is tie yourself in knots where you do something, you know, that will only work for the one place that you're listening. And that's the reason why we spent the whole time listening to the song at first. And again, we talk about this all the time. Don't be afraid to stop and listen. Stop and listen to things, you know, so that you can always be making decisions on the global, on the whole of the song, as opposed to like, I'm just trying to solve this one problem at the moment. Yeah, you're trying to solve it for what end? You know, and I might change my mind as I go, but I'm always trying to stop and listening to everything as a whole. I know it can be a little disjointed when we're doing the live streams because, of course, we have to solo things and listen, but don't be afraid to stop and check out stuff. So at the moment, we're going for this idea of everything to be a little bit more saturated than it was in the original mix. The original mix had the benefit of going through a very, very old, built in 1971, inductor-based console. And this doesn't. So how can we do that and maybe do it even more? So that's why we're having fun with this saturator. Okay, so we're half an hour in. Now, we're doing 3 giveaways of this beautiful bundle. So thank you ever so much, IK, for doing this. So it's the Total Studio Max. I'm going to have a quick go down to tell you what you're going to do on this giveaway. So something we're not even touching on at the moment is the fact that they're doing this for $250 normally. And it comes with all of this stuff. So here's all the synths that we've got. There's a Syntronic. There's like 1, 2, 3. Wow, there's loads of them. It's 94 products, 16,800 sounds, 39 mix and mastering processors, and 350 guitar-based gear models. That is insane for that price. Wow. Yowza, we're not even going to be able to get into this. Now, you'll notice before when I've done one of these, I used this. This is one, what this is based on is, I believe, one of the, oh, they do, Roland Jupiter series, so they must have got the rights to it, thank you. What I believe to be the greatest synth ever made, and that's just me biased because it's one of my favorite sounding synths, the Jupiter 8. I love that synthesizer. So it's amazing that they have that. We did use it before in one of our bundles, in one of our streams. There's so much, look, there's so many different things here. This is just, there's the Mini Mod, which is the Moog, the Voyager synths. There's so much here. For this price, that's insane. When I was a kid, I didn't have access to any of this stuff. This was like tens of thousands of dollars worth of gear, even just here. It's insane what we can do these days. The pianos are fantastic. Got the Brandenburg Art Deco, Alan Parsons' own pianos, American acoustics, Billy Cobham drums, cinematic percussion, Hugh Padgham drums, Neil Peart drums. I mean, that's insane. So that's all just to get that stuff there.
Wow, so I guess that's a sale because IK said full price is actually $999.
Wow, so okay, it's normally $999. I didn't know that. That's probably why I was thinking it was really, really super cheap. Wow, so okay, so it's normally $999. That's an upgrade price from previous Total Studio version. Ah, I see. I see. Well, that explains why it looks like about 10 grand's worth of stuff. Crazy. Okay. And then all of these EQs. Okay. So, all right. You got a chance to win this. You have a chance to win this. What do I want to know? I want to know, do you mix totally in the box or do you sum? Because we're talking about mixing now in the box. We have done this through summing. So do you sum? Do you sum stuff? That's what I want to know. So, do you have a summing amp? If it is, do you mix through a mixer? What is the way that you're doing? Yeah, it's a whole bunch of schnizzle. Who are you calling stupid? Me. I'm the stupid one. So tell us what you do. Totally in the box. Are you summing? Are you mixing hybrid? Are you mixing for a console? How are you doing it? And that's all you have to do. And there's 3 chances to win this. And on the last one, we're also going to give away a year's membership to the Academy. Yes, the deal is stupid. You're right. So let's pretend this is a bass guitar. Why am I saying that? Because I want to do something quickly different here. I'm going to do our usual trick on the low end, which we would do with bass, and I'm going to go straight to the bass after this to show you what we're doing here. I'm going to keep the saturation on because it's freaking awesome. But we're going to duplicate this. Active playlist. Don't need alternatives. Don't need any group assignments. Here. Okie dokie. So let's take these off for a second. We're going to go, the great thing is here's our high passing here. So why don't we go up to 300 on this first one here. So, you know what, I'm going to take the saturator off on the individuals. And you're going to see why. We're going to make this beat something really, really fun. So, here is my first one. I'm going to unbypass it. I'm going to go here and high pass up to 300. Let's have a listen. Absolutely fantastic. Now let's go over to our second one. We'll probably have to use something a little bit more fancy. So let's go fancy schmancy here. Okay. Engage it. And yes, you guessed it, we're going to go to about 300. Now, we're going to turn on our 73 again. It's too high. So what I'm going to do here then is, we've got to 160. No, let's try this. because I don't want those low mids. They're too ugly. So I'm bringing this down to 223. Or 223. And now what I'm going to do is let's get something pretty aggressive on the compression. We've got the, why not? There's a brick wall limiter. Why the heck not? Tempted to distort it, but I'm not going to. It's like blowing it up here. Let's turn that down. Put that 73 afterwards. I'm now going to take that and sum those two schnizzles together, just for the heck of it. And put those into bus 1 and 2. Call this beat sub. Very tempted to take this brick wall down, but I'm not actually. I'm going to take the saturator down. Open that up. Bring the gain down. That's a lot more the sound I'm looking for. Okay, bring in the piano. It's folding in. It's kind of, and I actually like it. You know, maybe it's not your thing, but I like a little bit of that kind of folded in, trashed out, hit too hard on the tape. So now it's got a little bit more low end, but it's a bit more controlled and it's a little bit more distorted. I like it. Why am I doing that? Because I want to sort of narrow it down a little bit, make it a little bit more wrong and crappy, so that when, and crappy in a good way, so that when the chorus hits, I've got the timpani that comes in, and I've got that other beat that comes in, and it's going to end up being old-fashioned sounding at the beginning, and then the chorus comes in and smashes you over the head. Okay, I like the twiddly piano as it is. Let's have a listen to the strings. I think for the strings we're going to have to get creative and have some fun. So let's create let's create a separate stereo here. I'm going to come straight out. The strings are very, very artificial, incredibly artificial. They need some stuff to roughen them up a little bit. So let's do string. We're just going to call it string effects. So what I want to do here, and what I'll do is I'm going to go to pre-fade for a second. The reason why I'm going to go to pre-fade is I just want to listen to the effects. So we'll come in on 19 and 20 here. So this is now just an effects change. You can see there's nothing going on at the moment. Let's bring down our saturation. it's immediately bringing up some of the ambient. So that's really good. That's what we're trying to exaggerate here. But I'm tempted to see what it would be like with a delay before it. So let's go back here. Let's go to tape echo. So I'm leaving the saturation off for a second, but we know that it's doing some great stuff. So let's sync up our BPM. That's freaking awesome. Now let's put on saturation afterwards. Amazing, amazing. Okay, two together. Having a lot of fun listening to it. Lots and lots of fun. Now, there is some low-end cancellation. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to wipe that off. So let's go in and grab some of that. I'm sure those of you with keen ears were hearing that. Let's just go back and set this. There we go. I think when we go to linear phase, it's probably using a crap ton more CPU, which I don't know if we need to do. I'm very tempted to flip the left and right channels. Doing? I'm having some fun here. I'm enjoying this. I'm actually thinking because because these strings are a little synthetic, this is roughening it up a little bit, which I like. But I'm also thinking this might be the alternative way of doing this. So maybe what we can do is do something fun, which could be this. So believe it or not, I'm going to do this. I want to see, this is purely an experiment, but I love experimenting. Who the heck doesn't? This. I'm going to fade one into the other. don't like it. There's a point where the phase is not good between the two, and it's. Let's quickly try something here. I love doing this stuff live because you just get to see what's really, really happening in the real world. I'm actually gonna grab. Oh, metering. God bless the metering. I love doing this, just going through and finding out what we have. Look at this. I think I'm going to keep to this. So I'm going to keep to this effect only. Have a listen.
Just off the coast.
I'm keeping this on. Let's have a keep going.
And everywhere the lights are flashing. Maybe we're falling. Maybe we should call the whole thing off. This is dangerous, but we need to feel the rush. And I keep saying I can't keep playing this game. And I keep finding myself inside of the same old hurricane. Oh, 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 hurricane. Oh, 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 hurricane.
Cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit of fun here for a second. We're going to maybe automate some of this EQ here, which is really nice. So I'm changing my whole philosophy here. This is what's great about mixing, quite frankly. I'm actually going to put all of these effects directly on the channel itself. And I'm going to turn this string effect off. I'm going to hide it and make it inactive just in case we do decide to use it later. So now this is directly on the channel. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to Alto, and we've got a master bypass, we've got the gain here, we've got the low filter, low pass, high pass, resonance on band 1, active frequency. So here's the frequency. So let's try something. Let's get into, here's the frequency. So if you look here, 10 hertz, up to 20 hertz, 20 kilohertz, sorry. So why don't we do this? Why don't we keep it there and do reverse. Okay, so this is the way I'm going to do it. Grab this, pull it down. Actually, we'll go a little further because there's probably some ambience going. Hopefully this is all making sense to you. But I am going to slowly open it up. Turn it up. So we're opening up the low end.
Just off the coast.
Cool. All right, so I was turning that up manually. Let's just do a couple of things. Let's actually bring the output up. So what I did here is I just unlinked the gain and the output. I'm going to turn it up, so just using it as a simple volume control. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of automation. So we'll start it off a little quieter, and then we're going to go right up here. So we're going to create a little bit of extra drama. Here we go.
Just off the coast, the waves are crashing.
That's actually not that dramatic. So let's exaggerate it. So I'm taking the output of the saturator up a little bit more. So when it gets loud, it's going to get loud. And let's just manipulate our ears a little bit more and just make that last part even more dramatic.
Just off the coast, the waves are crashing.
Cool. This may be a little too dramatic at the moment, but I don't care. All right. Now what do I want to go to? I want to go to the vocal here and give it some more presence.
Just off the coast, the waves.
And we're a couple of minutes away from doing another giveaway.
Just off the coast, the waves are crashing.
Now, I remember this vocal. This vocal, I believe, was done on a 57.
Just off the coast, the waves are crashing.
We had the beautiful, expensive Adele U48 available, but we didn't use it because it's the scratch. We ended up using the scratch vocal. We've had a lot of debate, and then I was talking to Phil about it, and we believe that's what we were doing. So let's go in here and have some fun. Okie dokie. I'm going to go for the opto comp because I think it's the right call for this particular vocal.
Just off the coast, the waves are crashing. Sirens call us to the rock.
Now you can hear that 57, that little grit. I don't mind it too much. It's probably where we're going to put a tape emulation on in a second, just so you know.
And I keep saying I can't keep playing.
You hear it? You hear that 3 to 5K? Oh goodness, this is definitely a 57.
And I keep saying I can't keep playing this game. But I keep finding myself inside of the same old dish, and I keep saying I can't keep playing.
So I'm going to keep the attack so it's not super fast. So maybe we can introduce some, you know. The preamp, I believe the preamp was a Phoenix.
And I keep saying I can't keep playing this game.
So I'm encouraging a little pa. I'm going to keep slowing down the release time.
And I keep saying I can't keep playing this game.
Now you're starting to hear those P's coming out and the pa.
And I keep saying I can't keep playing this game. But
You can tell it's a scratch. You can hear all the headphone bleed. We didn't care. She was doing it quickly.
and I keep saying I can't keep playing this game. But I keep finding myself inside of the same old dish, and I keep saying I can't keep playing this game.
Yeah. Okay, I'm loving what it's doing.
And I keep saying I can't keep playing this game. Myself in old dish, and I keep saying I can't keep playing this game.
Oh wow. So IK Sound, this is Opto Compressor, is based on a unit hand built by our CTO. Okay, so their CTO, we met and interviewed, is this really super cool Italian guy who, you have to go back and watch those videos. Maybe Eric can post a link to those because they're pretty freaking awesome. I really enjoyed speaking to him. His name is David, and he's just awesome.
I keep saying I can't keep playing this game, but I keep fighting.
So I'm still hearing that gritty 57, 3 to 5K, you know what I mean? So let's whack on a bit of a tape sound, because we're trying to get this to be, you know, older and, I don't know, sound like something that could have been recorded in that period. We're doing a lot of wrongness. I'm liking the wrongness. Oh, that's the tape echo, which might actually work, but I don't want to put it directly on. So, serves me right for going the wrong direction here. Let's get this. Oh, you know what? This might be the secret here. This is probably the secret. I believe this, yeah. If there's something between this and a Verimuse, something that rolls in the high end, let's see what it does.
I keep saying I can't keep playing this game.
Although I went for the stereo, which is completely and utterly unnecessary. Is there a 660 in here? Not that I see quickly, so I'm going to keep going.
I keep saying I can't keep playing this game, but I keep finding myself inside of the same.
I mean, you can hear how much low end it's bringing back in. It's insane.
I keep saying I can't keep playing this game, but I keep finding myself inside of the same.
But also, I'm going to hit it really hard, so we're going to take the output of the opto.
I keep saying I can't keep playing this game.
Okay, you can hear all that lows coming in. So, what are we going to do? Well, let's just go and grab an EQ right at the beginning. So I'm going to I'll put a 73 on it. You know I will. You know I'm going to. So we'll grab the 73.
I keep saying I can't keep playing this game, but I keep finding I keep saying I can't keep playing this game, but I came, 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 this game, but I came.
That's the thing with a scratch handheld 57. You got bleed, you got all kinds of wrongness. But there's a part of it. This is what this song needs. It needs a lot of wrongness because it's supposed to sound like something that was probably recorded live on a 4-track, if that. You know, so I don't mind all of this wrong stuff happening here.
This game, but I came, this game.
So now we've got natural mic pre-compression happening here because we're driving the schnizzle out of this.
This game, but I came, this game, but I came, this game, but I came, this game.
So we're high passing around about 80.
This game.
So we're going as high as 160 to pull it out. And I'm going to try and find that resonant frequency.
And I keep saying I can't keep playing this game, but I keep finding my...
The thing about Katie is she's got a little bit of a nasalness, which is why we like the 57 on her. So I'm going to pull out a little 700 here.
And I keep saying I can't keep playing this game, but I keep finding myself inside of the same.
There's a bit of de-essing maybe that needs to start to happen now that we're driving it harder, but I like it.
And I keep saying I can't keep playing this game, but I keep finding myself inside of the same.
I really like it. You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like when I take my A80 over here, just a quick, that little baby over there. So there's my tape machine. That sounds like I smashed it on the tape, which is really what we wanted. I didn't smash it on the tape. I didn't record it like that at all. I recorded it at harmony. But that's what I want. I want that sort of sound. Now, at the moment, there's no delays, there's no compression, there's no nothing. Okay, I forgot to do the giveaway. So this is giveaway number 2. Numero dos. We're going to get into some effects now on the vocals. What What is your favorite EQ? What EQ do you like? Do you have IK EQs? What are they? What do you have? What are your EQs? We'd love to know. What EQ is your go-to? In the real world, you can tell I'm a 1073 kind of guy. And there's one sitting down here. There's one sitting over there. When it comes to hardware, I tend to favor the BAE. I've just been using them since they pretty much came out, I think in 2000. So I have a Brent and I have, you know, they're the same, just for a quick shout out for BAE, the same guys that make them. All that changed was the owner, but the actual guys that handcraft them are still making them. So anyway, so yeah, so I've got two 773s there. I've got, anyway, that's the sound that I love. And you're going to see me reaching for that to do stuff all the time. Okay, so now I want to get a couple of, whoopsie, let's go stereo auxiliaries. Let's get 2 going. Let's have some fun. So let's come up with a delay and a reverb. And I'm just going to take the same output here and go to both. So we can make them both 2930. Okay. And let's look for a couple of delays. I want to do something different to what we've done before. Bum, 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 bum. We've already tried that tape echo, so I don't want to do that. I want to see what other options we may or may not have. Or maybe we do go to that. You know what, I'm going to bypass the echo for a second and go to verb because we've already talked about echoes anyway. And I don't want to repeat myself too many times, even though I always do. Because their reverbs are pretty special. I think it's plate for me if I'm trying to do something old. So classic studio plate. Last time we did this, the default plate setting was really special. Let's see if it works again.
And I keep saying I can't keep playing this game, but I keep finding myself inside of the same old same hurricane. Oh, 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 hurricane. Oh, 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 hurricane. Oh, 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 oh.
How many plugins do they have, Lisa? A schnizzle-ton.
This is dangerous, but we need to feel the rush. And I keep saying I can't keep playing this game, but I keep finding myself inside of the same old same hurricane. Oh, 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 hurricane. Oh, 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 hurricane. Oh, oh, oh.
Cool. So I'm really digging it. The only thing, and it's a recording of the vocal, with that 57, that on that 57, gets a bit much. It's beautiful what the 670 is doing, but there's something inherent in it. So I'm actually going to put a de-esser on first on the vocal.
This is dangerous, but we
I got a release time here. That's it. That's what I'm hearing. So let's hear it.
This is dangerous, but we need.
So we'll listen to it in normal.
This is dangerous, but we need to feel the rush.
Oh yeah, it's so much better what it's doing.
This is dangerous, but we need to feel the rush. And I keep.
Wow. Okay, so that little grit, that artificial schnizzle that's happening with her holding that mic and the way that it was hitting the mic pre in the original recording, I just got rid of using the de-esser. Thank you. There we go. Moving on.
This is dangerous, but we need to feel the rush. And I keep saying I swirling all around us. We watch all the worlds collide.
I'm really digging this. It's interesting. It's a totally different... What's really, really important is to get back to that original idea of what we wanted to do. The idea of this song was not to think about it in a modern way, not to sculpt it and overly EQ it. I am using EQs, but in a way that we were talking about with Andrew Sheps a couple of weeks ago, about like taking the sound of something. What's good about a 57? What's bad about a 57? What happened with this scratch vocal? The fact that it was probably compressed too much going in, but distorted a little bit. We're smoothing it out. We're actually compressing it more, believe it or not, so it sounds like it's hitting a tape. And we got rid of some of that grittiness by using a de-esser. So the de-esser got rid of the amazing. De-essing, I believe, is a confusing term because everybody thinks of it just for getting rid of S's. Honestly, that's the last thing we need de-essers for now. They are compressors. They're a multi-band, single-band, multi-band compressor. And what I did is I used that to get rid of that extra. The only thing it did was get rid of that. I feel like now, if you just want to specifically de-ess something and you've got 3 S's in a song which are going, just turn them down. So now a de-esser becomes this multi-use tool.
This is dangerous, but we need to feel the rush. And I keep saying I can't keep playing this game, but I keep finding myself inside of the same old same hurricane. Oh, 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 hurricane. Oh, 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 hurricane. Oh, oh, oh.
You see, there's lots of things that we could have done, both with the beat and also with the vocal, where we spent the most amount of time, where we could have got in there and used very, very detailed plugins and pulled out, well, there's a bit of like 6. There's like a bit of 650 in a voice, a bit of 450. However, that would never, ever have been available at the period of time that I'm trying to do here. So we're doing it, addressing it in different ways. It's a little bit like there's all this discussion about, boosting EQ versus cutting. If I'm going to boost a certain like high end, it's going to be very similar as cutting. Now, I know that sounds really stupid, but it's the truth. If I boost everything above the low mids, then I'm essentially cutting the low mids at the same time. What I'm doing is making everything else louder above the low mids, but I'm also adding the flavor, the sound of the equipment. And that's what I wanted. With the 1073, I wanted the sound of the mic pre, hitting it and distorting it. So bear in mind, there's no one size fits all. We can get there and we can use EQ to do really dramatic stuff by boosting or cutting. We can do detailed stuff. We can do really, really modern like EQ points. And you've seen me do it on songs and using like stuff and detailing things. Or else, in this instance, we could do more global stuff and utilize the sound of this. If you're going to use an emulation like a 73 here, then use it. Drive it hard, give it the sound of why people like this particular mic pre, why they like the EQ. Use and abuse it. Don't be afraid to kind of do things that might be considered wrong if you go to a forum. Look how much opto compression we're doing.
This is dangerous, but we need to feel the rush. And I keep saying that.
I mean, we're up to 6 or 7 dB at times there of gain reduction. And then look at the Fairchild.
This is dangerous, but we need to feel the rush. And I keep saying I can't keep playing this game.
I mean, there's a lot of gain reduction going on there. But it's not so much about the gain reduction as the fact that we're hearing the sound of the emulation. This is a 670 emulation, so we're hearing what it sounds like. We're using it. If you're going to take analog style equipment, emulations, you've got to remember the reason why we used a lot of these stuff and the reason why we have a lot of these things is because the sound that it imparts on it. It's not just, you're not using the tools specifically only for the fact that they are EQs and compressors. You're using them because they're EQs and compressors that have a sound. That's why people build emulations. if you purely and simply are going to live in a forum world of like, well, should I boost or cut, then just buy clean sounding EQs and compressors. But you can see we're creating a sound here with the track by really kind of going for it.
This is dangerous, but we need to feel the rush, and I keep saying.
I also feel like by not using a delay on the vocal and only having a delay on the strings, what I'm doing is I'm also living in a world of what was available. I was talking to Ulrich Wild about this yesterday, about the fact that when he and I used to mix albums in the early 2000s, any studio, even the best studios in the world, had 2 delays and 3 reverbs and maybe a room or a chamber. So when you mixed through your 72 channel SSL or whatever you had to decide what got reverb. Now think about a song like this, which is a Stax Motown Atlantic style song. You've got to bear in mind that you probably only had the room that everybody recorded in, and maybe a plate, and maybe a chamber, and maybe a tape delay. So you have the sound of the room, and then you maybe had access to 3 other effects. So got to be careful. How can we create the sound and overall sound of the track without getting so carried away that everything has like 3 different delays and 4 reverbs? All of which is perfectly fine when you're doing a different style of music. But what we're trying to do here is, you know, as you can tell, we're using saturation, we're using delays, we're using reverbs. Now, speaking of which, just jump back to the bass, because I did promise earlier I was going to do the bass next. Let's have a quick listen to this bass guitar. I put this through a guitar amp and I printed a spring reverb. Listen to this. This is a bass through a guitar amp with spring reverb on it. Thanks, Clay. Just to hammer home that point a bit more. Yeah, what I'm really trying to say here and illustrate is that there's no one way. And if you want to be a professional mixer, engineer, producer, you've got to learn, you have to learn how to record and mix in 50 different ways, not just the one way, not just your one sound that you have, the one thing that you do. Maybe you'll get a hit song and maybe people will come to you for a year or 2 while your sound is trendy. But that's it, that's the end of your career. I can name you a lot of producers and engineers that co-wrote and had hits 10 years ago that don't currently have any and are probably struggling to do anything. And it's a different kind of industry as well. You need versatility. So that's why we have the Academy, and we're going to do an Academy giveaway in 10 minutes as well as the Total 2 Max, is because we're trying to teach and share ideas about the idea there's no one way to do anything. So when you get trolled and people tell you, oh, this isn't the way to do it, well, that isn't the way to do it on maybe the one song that you're mixing. You have to be open to lots of different ways. Oh, by the way, I see we have 372 people watching live. That's amazing. Can you please hit the like button? Can you hit the like button? I would really, really like it. So hit the like button before we do the last giveaway. The last giveaway is going to be the Total Studio Max, all the plugins with a free year's membership to the Academy. So I think the first thing we're going to do is just compress it. That's it. That's the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a compressor on it, bring it up, and just see what we've got going on. What do we have going on? And I'm going to go for the Dynamo. Big fan of this.
Sirens call us to the rocks.
I love the way that vocal sounds. It's so good. Now dropping the piano.
Just off the coast, the waves are crashing. should call the whole thing off. This is dangerous, but we need to feel the rush. And I keep saying I can't keep playing this game, but I keep finding myself inside of the same old same hurricane. Oh, 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 hurricane. Oh, 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 hurricane. Oh, oh, oh. Winds are swirling.
All right, so bass guitar is a flat wound bass strings on it, flat wound bass strings on it going into a guitar amp. I don't think I'm going to do anything else to it. Everything is starting to sound like a little kind of destroyed and distorted and freaking awesome. I love it. I really am enjoying it. I'm going to do two more things and then we're going to do a giveaway. So the two things we're going to do is we're going to group together these guitars exactly as they are. You've got to bear in mind, when these songs are recorded that we're trying to emulate, they didn't have parametric, semi-parametric EQs. They didn't have all of this craziness. They just had, you know, overall stuff. This is a perfect example of why we get to use, you know, some of IK's emulations here, because that's the way we got to think. We got to think about this from a point of view of like globally doing stuff rather than surgically doing things. Okay, so... and it's also just a lot of fun to think that way. So I'm going to go back to this Dynamo. I'm loving it. Let's hear the guitars through this. So this last giveaway then is for the full IK, here it is, and which at the moment is on a ridiculously good deal, so please go and check it out. Total Studio 2 Max, which is everything, which is just insane. There's so much stuff in here. There's drums, there's everything. It's on a ridiculous deal, so if you don't win it, go and buy it. It's pretty amazing. We've had a lot of fun here working with these these emulations, because this is the perfect thing for this song, because we're trying to keep the integrity of this song, and we're not getting in here doing like little fiddly kind of EQ points and getting, you know, disappearing up our own butts. We're trying to keep a global sound here and glue it together. So that's why we've been enjoying using the Varimu, or the Dynamo I should call it, sorry. The saturation in particular, the Opto Comp here, which I'm a big fan of. Which David designed. You can read all about him, see all about him. I think Eric was putting up a link to that video. And then, of course, there is the 670. All of these things have done something to really kind of glue it together. Plus, of course, the plate on the vocal, and not to mention the saturation, which we've been using a lot, which is here. Which, defaulting to take one is where I love to go, to be honest. So you can have a listen. Just absolutely loving it. Fantastic. All right.
I keep saying that.
So what do I want to know? This is to win a year's membership as well. And by the way, if you get into the Academy, you're going to see my mix of this done through a summing console. You're also going to watch Brad Wood mix this song. If you're an Academy member, you get it, everything. It's absolutely wonderful. So please, 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 go check out the Academy. Go check out everything if you don't win. What do I want to know? And also, because there's a lot of Academy members watching, please, if you win, we'll give you a free course. We have plenty of other free courses we can give you. So this is for the Total Studio 2 bundle, the whole thing, and a year's membership to Academy. What do I want to know? We talked about EQs. What's your favorite EQ? You know what? I dug that plate reverb so much. Remember I was talking about this reverb here, about how the fact that the actual default always works so good for me. Here's the...
And I keep saying I can't.
That was the default reverb. It's like, that's the plate that they give you straight away, and I've yet to move past it. It always works perfectly. The only thing I've ever adjusted is the reverb time, but I kept it at 1.3 seconds.
Keep saying I can't keep playing this game.
And sometimes it's like the saturation, the fact that the take one is like the best sounding one. I like the fact that they do that you can come in, open up a plugin, and it sounds really good straight away. So yeah, it's a great giveaway. So what I want to know, okay, I suppose, what is your favorite reverb? What is your favorite reverb? If it's an IK, that's great. Let us know. If it's not, that's absolutely fine. Let us know what is your favorite reverb. We would love to know. If it's hardware, what hardware reverb it is. Do you aspire to a reverb that's your favorite reverb that you don't own? You don't have to own it. If it's a lexicon, if it's a this, if it's a that, let us know. What's your favorite reverb? This is for a 1-year membership to the Academy and a full-blown Total Studio 2 Max, which has all of this schnizzle in it. All of these synths. All of them. The electric pianos. The drums. Which there is tons. Terry Bozzio, I can't believe I missed that. All of this electronica stuff. Tons of it. All the EDM stuff for those of you that want to get into that as well. And techno that aren't in that already. Then there's all of the orchestral stuff. All of the bass. And then there's all of the plugins we've been using here. It's just insane how much stuff. Incredible. And then, of course, our friends Gavin Lurson and Ruben, their mastering console. Then there's all of the guitars and stuff. We haven't even got into that yet. There's just too much to do in an hour and a half. And then, last but no means least, the full tone collection, which is insane because full tone pedals are amazing. I'm going to go have a quick look at that, just because I'm self-indulgent. I am a guitar player. Look at that. Amazing. Look at that. Oh, really? That looks like a copycat. Where do I find that? Where do I find that schnizzle? Oh, you see what happens when I get... this happens? I get all excited and then I realise. So where do I find the full tone? What? Do we not have that loaded, Eric?
It may be in...
He said it may be in...
amplitude form?
Maybe in amplitude? Are you sure?
Or I could be wrong. As I am.
Now I'm getting all excited and I might not be able to find it.
It's a tease.
Yep. And I'm getting the Wheel of Death. The Wheel of Death. The Beach Ball of Death. Oh, IK says in amplitude. Thank you. All right, now we're all going off on a fun tangent. Okay, so I'm going to put this in pre so we can just listen to it. And I'm going to mute it. So we're only going to listen to it now. And I'm going to go to Stomp A. And I'm going to... Oh, look, there's a delay there. Full tone, OCD. What's this? Oh, I don't know what this is, but I'm doing it.
Keep saying I can't
Yowza! God bless it!
Keep saying that I can't play this game.
Because it's going through an amp and everything. This is awesome. Do, 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 do.
Keep saying that I can't play this game.
Ooh, and I got spring reverb.
Keep saying that I can't play this game. Oh, oh, hurricane. Oh, 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 hurricane. Oh, oh, oh. I keep saying I can't keep playing this game.
So I was having this conversation yesterday with Ulrich over lunch, Ulrich Wild, and we were talking about like how you know we like hardware and plugins and this that, and the other and this distortion box and that, and the conversation we ended up coming out, it is the thing that we came out of the conversation was the fact that we absolutely love using everything for everything that it was not intended for. Like this is a vocal delay now going through an amp.
Keep saying I can't keep playing this game, but I keep finding myself inside of the same old same hurricane. Oh.
So cool. So now we have the vocal delay coming through amplitude. Thank God for that. It's rather wonderful. So we're driving it through an amp, which was the default American clean, which is obviously has a very Fender tone. It's obviously being overdriven because the vocal's so compressed. It's hitting it super, super hard. And then we went and found this tape delay here.
Keep saying I can't keep playing this
Love that. Love it.
I keep saying I can't keep playing this game, but I keep finding myself inside.
All right, let's hear it on the verses.
Just off the coast, the waves are crashing. Sirens call us to the rocks. And everywhere the lights are flashing. Maybe we have fallen, maybe we should call the whole thing off. This is dangerous, but we need to feel the rush, and I keep saying that.
Love it. Love it. Oh, congratulations, Chariot. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. See, we have 295 likes and we have 400 people watching. Thank you ever so much, everybody who's watching. Please hit that like button. You know what? We're screwing it up. We're messing it up. We're having fun here. We're putting vocals through guitar amp emulations with tape delays on it. This is the way to think. And it's been a really good song for this because it is supposed to sound old and timeless and not be something that's super clean and overthought and overwrought. So this has been really, really good. Please hit that like button. I would really, really appreciate it. 400 people watching. This has been absolutely amazing. Thank you ever so much. Please hit the like before you go. Thank you and congratulations to everybody that won. Thank you, IK Multimedia, for letting us give away 3 of these amazing bundles. Congratulations on our new Academy member, who was Chariot. Congratulations. And they also won the full Total 2 Studio 2 Maximum Bundle and a yearly membership. Yay! Amazing. What did, you're messing it up, certainly. Yeah, I like messing it up. Having fun, you know, make it all wrong.
Oh, 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 oh.
Thanks, IK. Wonderful giveaway. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please hit that like button on your way out. I really appreciate it. Come back in a few minutes and you can leave comments and everything as well. You know, and thanks, IK, for being involved and answering questions. And yes, I'm not wearing a black shirt. You know what's so funny? The reason why we got into the black shirts, and you can, and how you can, what was the Churchill comment? You can please some of the people some of the time, and all of the people all the time. When I used to wear colours that weren't black or blue, people used to complain that it would mess up their screen if it had any kind of pattern in it. So that's the reason why I've been wearing single colours. And now people are saying, please, why are you wearing single colours? So anyway, God bless it. This has been a lot of fun. Hopefully we can do another one of these again soon. Thanks, IK. We have a really fun one coming with IK. When is it? When's it coming out with Steve?
I want to say next week.
Might be next week. A really, really good one where we do a song from scratch with Steve Magora. And it's pretty much in real time. So you're going to see a whole song come together using only virtual instruments and everything that IK makes. It's pretty amazing. And we'll make the multi-tracks available for download as well. So check back on that next week. Thank you, everybody. Please hit the like button on your way out. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks for the giveaway. Thanks everyone that shows up, suits up, shows up, leaves positive messages, helps each other out. It's really fantastic. Have a marvellous time recording and mixing. Thank you, Blue, for the headphones. These are Blue headphones. IK for the speakers. We're using the, oh my God, what are they called? The little IK monitors. Eric, help me out. iLouds. iLoud speakers. I'm not looking at them. So iLoud, everybody, thank you ever so much. Have a marvellous time recording and mixing. And see you all again very, very soon.